Whoa! Yeah, I guess the camera's on. Alright, yes. Response video to rozeboosye. Yes, he's the... there's what, Skyzer and Q and this turd and, whatever, 3 others. And just so pathetic. Pathetic arguments. So here's his title. Triple whammy. Triple whammy. Whammy. Who even types a word like whammy? What guy with a functional dick types the word whammy? Yeah, well, anyway. Poking caged rats. I mean, really. Yeah, you're the ones that seem pretty desperate. You're the guys squirming around, trying every little desperate maneuver to try to unravel just basic logic and the basic consequences of evolution. Trying to oh, it's all symbiotic, and all the parasitical relationships are really expressions of love. All this crap you're piling on top of life. Okay, because yeah, you can't go with a straight God. You have to go with the kind of the totem pole God. Of funny looking bird and pretty flower. Yeah, there's beauty in the universe. Oh, you people are hilarious. Well, anyway, let's play the video. I'm sure it's gonna be hilarious. I'm sure of it.
In this video, I would like to present 3 short observations about antinatalism.
Oh no, you're going to talk about antinatalist. You're not going to talk about antinatalism, because you have no counter argument. You have no rational counter argument to the simple truth that, oh yeah, we don't miss the Martians. Why is that? Why don't we miss the Martians? Oh, that's right, because it's all about our ego and nothing else. Yeah, nothing you can do with that. Yeah, except lose. Yeah.
It is going to be a fairly short video.
Oh, yes.
Short, as opposed to videos made by antinatalists.
Right, it's an 8-minute video, and he's not going to say anything. We know that, right? He's not going to be making any complex counter-argument. He's not going to respond to any direct quotes from antinatalists, so, yeah. 8 minutes of nothing, and he's complaining.
Which tend to be very, very long indeed. Now, the antinatalist...
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the response videos take a while. So let's see you play somebody's video and respond to what they're saying. Have the balls to do that. And let's see you do it in some sort of breaking physics manner where you actually make the video shorter that way. I don't think you can do it, Putz. No. And let's also point out that almost every book on philosophy that challenges any normative ideas is usually pretty thick, because normative ideas, the status quo, doesn't fall easy. The opposition has to go all the way back to their dumb little notions, their little fairy tales of silver linings. And they have to argue and explain how, well, first you have to clean your brain of all the crap that's in there before you can even understand what I'm talking about. So they have to go all that work. So you show me the book, you show me the pamphlet that challenges some status quo, popular notions, and you show me the pamphlets that's been successful, the little thin tiny book that's done the job. You go show it to me, okay? Okay, little whammy man?
Will retort to this and will say, well, this is because we have so much to say. But if you've ever watched a few antinatalists...
No, it's because you're so fucking dumb. Alright? I mean, if people weren't dumb, this would be really simple. Consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction. What else is there? Love? Yeah, right. I have to explain to you how your love is just a selfish, egotistical manipulation of your psychology. That's right, I would have to explain that to you, wouldn't I? Because you're all dumb fuckers. So that's why the videos have to be so long. It's because I have to explain simple concepts. Yeah, there's no Santa Claus or Easter rabbit.
These videos, it'll soon become apparent that the real reason why antinatalist videos are always so long is twofold. First of all...
Yeah, again, like I said, it's not about antinatalism, right? Again, it's about, oh, yeah, I'm going to take shots at antinatalists. Well, I can take shots at you turds. I mean, I really could. You really make me want to throw the fuck up. You're so fucking nerdy and queer. You're so fucking queer.
Every single antinatalist video ends up rehashing the complete philosophy from start to finish.
Well, you want to prove that? I mean, really, can you prove that with any kind of, like, what's called evidence? I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can even come close to doing that. There's videos that are deliberately an explanation of the philosophy in as concise a manner as possible. And then there's videos about just elements of the philosophy that are response videos to other people. So, I mean, you go to, like, Metamorph videos, and he'll be challenging, he'll quote his adversary and point out the counter-argument to what's being spewed. And he does it in as concise a manner as possible. Well, anyway, this is just a juvenile critique. I mean, it's worse than that. It's disgusting. And the assholes applauding this, assholes like Skyzor, who hasn't made a comprehensible brief video in his life, do in the morning another She Talks fucking Forever, and she could put you to sleep with no problems. Who are these people to be critiquing? I mean, disgusting.
But also,
I mean, in this guy, his only claim to fame is that he just makes buffoon videos. Look, you know, I can, you know, squeeze my nipples. Ha ha ha. Aren't I silly and disgusting? Yes, you are.
such videos could be about 15 minutes long, and that would be rehashing the complete philosophy from start to finish. But on top of that, they like to repeat themselves ad nauseum.
Right. They like to. They're doing this because they like to. It's not because you keep making the same arguments or people in the comments keep posting the same shit. Oh, why don't you just kill yourself? Yeah, and we only answer it 6 million times, and you just keep saying the same shit over and over. Let's see how much shit you repeat here. And then maybe somebody should go back and look how many times the same shit accusation has been made, and how many fucking times the same shit fucking accusation has been answered, and that nobody seems to be able to quote the answer and refute it. That's right. Because you people suck.
To the point of tedium. That's my first observation.
Yeah, well, you're queer to the point of
is
ookiness.
one that I've made while looking at antinatalists whipping themselves into a frenzy over the unfairness of life and over the
Yeah, right. Whipping themselves into a frenzy because, yes, unlike you, they find it abhorrent for there to be things like injustice, suffering. They hate seeing it wasted. It just makes them absolutely sick. And they panic. That's right. They find it worthy of panic. They think somebody should goddamn panic. That we're making a goddamn mess here. We're squandering the most precious thing in the universe. And maybe somebody should panic a little bit. That's right.
Reasonableness of imposing existence on non-existent beings and so on and so forth.
Oh, imposing, yeah, so I'm a non-existent being. Right. I mean, really, again, so this argument has been answered. But let's just use this as a fucking premise. I mean, because it is such a non-starter. I could go out and I could interview a bunch of 5-year-olds and ask them how they got here. And they're going to point to their parents. They're not going to point to the book over there or to a rock. They really aren't. I mean, this is just such an evasion of reality. Just word games to evade reality. Pretend water isn't wet because you're going to misspell water. Or wet. I mean, it's just disgusting.
And it started to occur to me that there is some kind of a parallel going on here with, for example, what is happening on our roads these days.
Oh,
as time moves on, we have found that technology has moved forward and driving has become generally more safe for the simple reason that the cars we are driving in are now actually safer. But also the rules of the road have become less and less tolerant of misbehavior on the road. So, for example, our drink driving rules have become stricter and stricter. And what this is leading to is that the responsibility for...
Oh, this is just so fucking interesting. Jesus Christ, this is the asshole complaining about the content in other people's videos? Amazing.
Anything happening on the roads is more and more becoming a matter of personal responsibility for those who choose to participate on traffic in the roads. In other words, if you are on the road and something happens to you, well, the most likely causes these days are going to be that either you screwed up, you did something wrong, or you were unfortunate enough to meet somebody else whom we can hold responsible for what happened.
Oh, right. So, yeah, there's no real accidents. Yeah, tires don't fall off and all that. No, come on. What are you even... What is this? How the fuck? Does anybody have... I mean, let's take bets, right, on whether this could possibly make any sense. That this analogy can go anywhere. This is goddamn fucking idiotic. Where the fuck are you going with this nonsense?
In this particular incident. And when this is translated to life as a whole, we are born and we have choices to make as we are leading our lives. We can mope and we can point the finger.
Or we can take responsibility to do the most aggressive in somebody's business maneuver possible, which is, I'm going to create you. I'll put you in a world that may contain huge jeopardy, huge liabilities to your welfare, and I'll say, yes, you pay my bills because I didn't pay any of them. That's right, I have a huge debt. Yeah, you pay it off, asshole. Yeah, you play games like that. Yeah, right. Such brave little fuckers.
But everybody else around us, and particularly the people who were involved in our generation, people who were involved...
Yeah, so there's just more complete crap. It has absolutely nothing to do with the conscious decision to procreate. That's the subject. Is it an ethically balanced equation? Procreation. Do you have the license to go with the ability? It's not complicated. Is there some reason to believe that you have the competence to make this decision for somebody else? Through what mechanism do you define your competence? These are the challenges, and you come up with nothing. You just say, I have a wiener, and therefore I can do it. Just as anybody else can say, I have a fist, or I have a swastika. I mean, so yeah, you're just defending it by saying, I'll do whatever the fuck I feel like. And so that, in my opinion, opens the door to anybody else who feels like doing something else that's intrusive and invasive and implicates somebody else's welfare.
In producing us as human beings, to wit our parents and grandparents and so on and so forth, and hold them responsible for everything that happened to us, or we can start taking personal responsibility.
Oh, whatever. Again, this is not the subject. It really isn't the subject. Anti-natalists aren't saying, I have it terrible. My parents were blah, blah. No, that's not what they're doing, shithead. They're talking about the subject in general. They're saying, yes, I found life inefficient, okay? Not good enough. And I'm saying, well, what's the rational thing to do? Well, it keeps happening. So what makes it keep happening? I guess that mechanism should be interfered with in some way. Because obviously I'm here because no one interfered with it. No one stood up and said, hey, wait a minute. Do you know what the fuck you're doing? Yeah. So yeah, we're challenging you to defend your aggression. And you have no defense except, to bang on your little cage and rattle and scream.
And as our wealth and our quality of life is slowly improving, and it could improve.
Well, you don't have any evidence of that either, right? The rich are getting richer, that's true. But is there any evidence that the average human being, the average working human being, is better off now than he was in 1975? Do you have evidence or proof of that shit for brains? I don't think you do.
An awful lot faster. I'm happy to accept that. But as things are slowly getting a little bit better as time goes on.
Yeah, better by what definition? right? Oh, you're living longer in the nursing home. Yeah, you've accomplished that. Yeah, well, that's great, huh? Good news there.
More and more, we are becoming masters of our own destiny and responsible for our own well-being.
Oh, yeah, right. And the evidence of that is where? Again, where is the evidence of that? There's less class migration, okay? You're more stuck than ever in terms of being stuck in a class or in an economic circumstance. And in most places, those circumstances are worse the more the population is increasing. Go to the places where population's increasing, and you won't see a better standard of living.
Our own wealth, our own quality of life, and so on. We have to give our life our own meaning, and we can be instrumental in making things better for other people. If we see other people suffer, it is sometimes within our power to do something about it and to help other people out. And
yeah, and the most responsible thing to do is to cure diseases, not keep treating them. All right, I mean, especially when the cure is cheap and simple. The cure is your addiction, Sonny. Okay, that's the cure. Is your problem. We fix your psychology. The little notions in your head are the only problem sentient life has on this planet.
Antinatalists realize that they fail miserably at this. They fail miserably at making other people happy.
Well, again, so another accusation made it anti-natalist. It's not on the subject of antinatalism. So if you show this asshole an antinatalist who has a great life, what is that? Is that proof that antinatalism is correct? Is that really how you measure philosophies now? We're just going to go find how the people live? You could argue that the people, the hierarchy of the Catholic Church lives really well. So does that mean that Catholicism is the correct philosophy? I mean, this is juvenile philosophy. This is, like I said, 5-year-olds would laugh at this crap.
But most importantly, they fail miserably at creating meaning for themselves, giving purpose to their own lives.
Yeah, prove it. Just prove it. Go find the antinatalist who has a lack of passion. Go show me these people that have a lack of creativity or in some other way are somehow a diminished human being by the great queer standard. Yeah, they're not as queer as you, that's true. What the fuck is this shit?
So they rant and they rage and they rave and they get angry.
Oh, whatever. That's right. That's what people do when they're pissed off because something's unjust. It's unfair, it's obnoxious, and it's obscene. It's a taking. You're thieves. You're stealing other people's welfare, okay, to satisfy your own problems. You need somebody to love you unconditionally, but you can't earn it in the real world. You're ego-driven. Through some psychotic mechanism, you look in the mirror and say, "Ooh, cool, let's make another one of these turds." God, you're just so fucking creepy. It's amazing how fucking creepy you are.
Angry at everybody who shows the slightest sign of having any form of enjoyment in their lives. And what is...
Yeah, this is just a lie. So again, just more lies. You're just such a fucking liar. You really are. You're a liar. Prove this. Prove where these people have no joy in their life. Show one of them and say, look, there's no joy in their life. Prove it. It's an obnoxious accusation, you fucking weasel. I mean, even for big fucking money, I wouldn't want to be you. All right? So there's obviously nothing about the joy in your life that I would want. Nothing at all about it.
Really shows is how much of a failure at life these people really are.
Well, you know, okay, let's get personal with you. I mean, this is just so obnoxious. Who the fuck are you to call me a failure at life? Who the fuck are you, you fucking ugly, inarticulate, scuzzy, smelly, disgusting piece of fucking shit? I mean, fuck. You know, I wish we could come up with a, I wish the world really had these mechanisms where people like you, who sit there and say obnoxious shit like that, could have to, you could have to go into the arena. You pick 500 challenges, and I'll beat you at 498 of them. I mean, you are a piece of shit. You're not even worthy of being shit on my shoe.
And finally, my last observation about antinatalism is the funniest one, because it shows how completely stunted their thinking actually is, and how they will proceed.
All right, watch this word game. So here we're stunted intellectually, and these are people who can't understand that parents give birth to children. Yeah.
To try and argue their case to the point of self-ponage. And this is when antinatalists choose
cheese, rozeboosje, ishki, rozeboosje, ishki.
To illustrate how terrible life really is by presenting hypothetical scenarios that are the most direst and horriblest possibilities that one can imagine.
Oh, please. There's no such thing as the most horrible that can be imagined, because guess what? If you have another couple of seconds, you can just add another horrible. You could just say, and they had the flu. You could just add one more, and they had shit on their shoe. Rozeboosje on their shoe. Ew.
So when somebody is trying to convince you that life is a horrible veil of tears, that people...
That's not the point. Again, so here you run from the word imposition, okay, that's clearly pointing out that there's a piece of life, okay, at minimum, all right, a piece of it, that is imposed, that must be accounted for, that there's 1 in the 4 people being dragged to the amusement park aren't amused. And we're saying, well, how do you account for that? How do you defend going to an amusement park at somebody else's expense? And that's what we're doing here. The argument is that we can't say we're going to a fire to rescue a damsel in distress. We can't say we're doing something of such merit that it would justify dragging along the minority who's going to be harmed by it. So the minimal argument discounts everything you're saying here. There is no blanket statement that every life is insufferably horrid. But there is the argument that only stupid people play tic-tac-toe and have a good time. That there is an element of ignorance required to play a game that has no justice built into it. Okay, that smart people create sophisticated games that have justice in them, that have fairness in them. They create Olympic games where they try to eliminate every unfairness possible. That's what smart people do. Smart people don't play dumb games that nature writes. Gee, too sophisticated an argument for you? No fucking doubt. Because you're a dumb, petty cunt.
It would be much better if you were never born, and that life in general is just suffering and
yeah, so these arguments have been made, they've been countered, whatever, hundreds of times, literally hundreds of times in long videos. It's been explained that that's not what's being stated, and you're just going to keep lying because that's all you have. You're desperate lying rats.
Not in death, and therefore life isn't worth it. There is only negative value to be had, and people are not buying it. People are saying, well,
people by what? What people? People. That's an argument. The argument from people. Oh, I have the argument from people. Well, then there's a God, asshole. So again, if you're going to pull that card, you're just a duplicitous asshole. If you're going to pull the argument from people, well, then you've just lost the argument. All right, because then you have to believe in God.
I'm relatively happy with my life overall.
Who the fuck cares? I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care if you were miserable. I just don't give a fuck what you are, asshole. I give a fuck about what you do to others.
On the balance, I think my life is worthwhile.
And so I will impose one on somebody else because I'm too stupid to figure out that just because I'm having a good time doesn't mean that they will necessarily have a good time. You're just plain too stupid to figure that out, right?
I can give my life meaning. I do my best to help other people achieve the same sort
Well, irrelevant again. Yes.
of thing. And
what is that even? I try to blah blah. What do you do? What if everybody's going to have to make this list? If you're going to sit there and tell me that you're accomplished something, well, why don't you just tell me what the hell fuck you've accomplished? If you're going to wear it on your sleeve, Mr. Accomplishment. You know, you clowns keep arguing as if we have to prove something. Well, why don't you prove something?
Start realizing that their basic arguments are failing. They start pointing out the most extreme cases that are possible to conceive.
Well, whatever. That's, you have to account for all the cases, don't you? Extreme or not, if they exist, you have to account for them. They're part of the equation, jackass. Are you going to say they don't exist? Are you going to say 1 million people a year don't kill themselves? And that isn't part of the price paid for your little hat? I enjoy my life and I like sucking my own dick. If I could reach it. Oh, I do it in my mind. I imagination it.
What if you could be guaranteed that everybody who was going to be born would be born with Lou Gehrig disease, for example, or ALS or whatever else is out there?
Oh, well, that's a simple thought experiment. It's too much of a challenge for you? It's just simply pointing out that what's really being argued here are standards. Okay? You have standards down here. You'll say this place can be really sloppy, it can be really unjust, it can be really nasty. And other people's standards are, no, that's not good enough. So that's what's an argument here. It's about slavery, or it's about anything. You can find a standard where people say, well, this is an acceptable level of slavery. Obviously, we've achieved an acceptable level of slavery. As long as the slaves are in some other country and I don't have to look at them, people have basically said slavery is okay. Isn't that the truth of the circumstance? So those are the conditions. And so we're arguing that I'm saying intelligent people looking at this circumstance have to conclude this is not a game you can play honorably or decently or fairly. Nature is fundamentally broken. Your needs can't justify the impositions on somebody else. These are just facts of our circumstance. All right? So that's the standard. You're not arguing it. You're just sitting there and saying, I'm going to discount the people arguing it. Fuck you, you petty little fucking weasel.
You know, Huntington's chorea, for example, or another one of these horrible diseases that hangs over you like a sword of Damocles.
Well, I'm sorry. This is part of how we even describe history, okay, throughout your life. What made the Holocaust bad? Well, it wasn't the fact that, it rained on a Thursday, is it? No, it's bad because a bunch of people suffered, you retard. Is there some other reason why it was bad than the suffering, you stupid shit? Fuck. I mean, no, the Black Plague. What was so bad about the Black Plague, right? I mean, we come up with a lot of great things about it. Well, it fixed, they had to clean up the slums a little. They did this and that, so there were certain improvements made. So as long as we just discount the suffering, yeah, it was all win. Fuck you.
And that's going to come down to you in your middle age and cut your life short and, guarantees a long and protracted, miserable end.
Look, can't you use your imagination? So you're telling me you can't imagine a fate worse than death? You really can't? You can't imagine a personal fate worse than death? Oh, I find that disingenuous at best. I don't believe that it's beyond your imagination.
But what these people don't realize is that by feeling the need to seek out such extreme examples of what they are talking about, they are tacitly admitting that therefore...
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you've tacitly admitting you have no argument when you try to argue that parents don't have children, that they don't have them, and imposed life on them. Okay, you've tacitly admitted you have no argument.
The median human life, the bog standard Joe average human life, must not be bad enough to warrant arriving.
Oh, so what's the Joe standard life? So let's homogenize life on Earth, and let's take the people, let's blend it all together. And what's the averages? Well, we've seen that if 100 people thing, right? So only 1 in 100 people go to college. You know, and then what percentage have internet? 4%, 3%, whatever, worldwide. I mean, you can do the number crunching, jackass, and it's not a great story, shit for brains. I wouldn't live the average human life.
At the antinatalist conclusion. That is why they feel the need to go to extremes in their examples and the cases they like to paint.
So another false accusation, right? I mean, we make lots of arguments. The extremes have to be accounted for. Again, you can't just say they don't exist. You can't. Right? You can't. You're not making the argument they don't exist. You're just saying you don't like to have to deal with them because that's the harder one for you to escape the truth of, right? That's all you're saying. You're just saying I don't like it because, yeah, I really, you know, it does really suck. And I don't have anything to argue. That's all you're saying. I can't make an argument to somebody who has elephant man disease and is suffering and is begging to die, and yeah, I don't have an argument. And you don't.
In other words, every time an antinatalist brings up Lou Gehrig disease, Huntington's disease, bowel cancer, or any other horrible way in which you might end, they've just pwned themselves. And with that, I would like to bid you good night.
Right. So they've pwned themselves. As you say, that's an extreme. That's just not common. Bowel cancer is not a common way of dying. So I think you just pwned yourself by putting that in the category of an extreme. A way that people commonly die, you just put into the category of extreme. I mean, that's pretty brilliant failure in my book. So bravo. What's the average human, how long does it take for the average human to die? Do you have that number? How many days? How much money? And how many surgeries? Let's do the numbers. Let's crunch the fucking numbers, buddy. And then you tell me that's the extreme. The average. And you call that the extreme. And let's do the average in the civilized countries, because obviously in the uncivilized country they still die from the disease thing. So yeah, they don't live to die, of old age, the consequences of aging. No, they die of something nasty and quick, generally speaking. Anyway, fuck you. God, you just suck so bad. So anyway, yeah, I'll throw a little note in here at the end. It's like a 30-minute video. But I did unblock everybody, so I can start over again. But yeah, I'm not going to accept, you go ahead, make shitty, stupid comments, and I'll just delete them for a while, and then I'll block you again. It's really, I'm just not going to put up with any more of the crap, so it's not like I'm saying, yeah, go ahead, post crap, because, yeah, that's just bullshit. I mean, if you can't come to my house with the same kind of respect I would go to your house with, then fuck you, okay? So if I don't have a right to make comments on some video you make and talk complete trash or talk about some other subject, then you really have no right to do it on my videos. You just don't. So until you make a video that I can shit on, don't be shitting on my videos. Not complicated. Anyway, enough of a video. So anyway, I got some stuff in my head working on, blah blah blah, and see what happens next. We'll see what happens, unless we die. something horrid, you know, go blind or whatnot, then we won't see. What assholes. Assholes.